Rolling out with the break of dawn. Canvas skies and the show goes on. Iron stakes and the hammer sound. Building dreams on this muddy ground. With sawdust running through our veins, we do it for the faces in the crowd. Step right up with R&B, 'cause this ain't just a show, it's circus history.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, in your American Clown,
Yeah.
you got a couple stars in there that you feature, like John C. Riley,
Yeah.
Steve-O, David
Uh-huh.
Arquette, and as we had mentioned earlier, Ernest Borgnine. What was the most surprising thing you learned about their personal clown philosophies?
Well, John was great. So I've known John C. Riley for 20 years. I did his
Oh,
kids'
wow.
parties when they were little. And we've bumped in, and like, I don't have the same friend groups. I'm not near as successful as John is, but like somehow we kind of cross paths every once in a while. And so when I was doing the documentary, I was like, obviously I know he's got some name recognition, and I thought he had a valuable story. But sitting down with him, he lost his house in the Altadena
Yeah.
fires. So we had
Oh.
filmed at his house previous to that, and he had all this great clown art up. I mean, he just has so much amazing clown art around, and that he's since lost. But so I didn't really realize that. And as I was talking to him in the interview, he kind of went on this big thing that he had a similar journey to what I had, as far as working as a carrying clown and kind of doing that. So I I wasn't really privy to that. I knew he did the Laurel and Hardy movie, or Stan and Ollie, I think, and so I knew he had. And to me, he's a wonderful cinema clown. Like he didn't. I wasn't allowed to talk about it, but Dr. Steve Brule, who he's very good friends with, he's just it's so funny. It's so funny to me, and so I knew he had so much to add to this story, but the one thing that really, and it made the final cut, there was one question that I had for him, and it was about clown status. I don't know if you remember this quote that he had in it, but I was trying to talk about status, like boss clown, Auguste
Right.
type thing, low status, like the Dumb and Dumber, sort of thing. And then he went ahead and he said, hey, status is all, he used a choice word that I won't say because it would deserve a honk, you
Yeah.
know, but that's all. It doesn't matter. You being alive, you have worth. You have, just life alone. And it was so. And I probably think about that, and it wasn't what I wanted at the time. Like I was like, oh, I thought he was going to talk about clown status, but it was like I think about that comment that he says once a week. Like once a week, I think about that, and I'm so glad it's in the film and that our editor pulled that
Yeah.
out, because it was one of these happy accidents. I wasn't fishing for that. He came out, and it's so true. And I think as a clown, and we can talk about the mechanics of it all you want, but I think we also have to talk about the overreaching thing, what it is to be human and to have humanity and to be part of this great experiment that we're all kind of forced to be in, by living. And I thought it was very poignant. I thought it was great. And so I that was a surprise. Um, the second surprise, if you'll do me the honor, J.J. Harrison, who's in the doc as a rodeo clown. All my producers are like, well, we have to have
Oh,
a rodeo
yeah.
clown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to have a rodeo clown. So, well, yeah, of course, we have to have a rodeo clown. And the whole time I'm thinking, it makes sense, right? Right. People think rodeo clown. They've seen baskets, they've seen whatever, so it does make sense to have that. And I was sitting down with him, and I was talking with him, and he's got his cowboy hat on, he's got his shirt on, and it's just like he's all like looks like a NASCAR driver, and we're talking about being a clown, and he said, I don't know if one of the first things he said to me was like, you can't just throw paint on somebody and they become a clown. Like it doesn't work like that. You gotta have something inside of you that's like that can go that extra mile, that wants to see people laugh and wants to see. And as he's talking for the first time, because he's not, no one's in makeup really, other than B footage and American Clown. I wanted us to talk to the performers specifically, but for the first time, and I'd seen him work, I'd seen videos. I was like, oh, oh, he's a clown, like, and of course he's a clown. Like I knew that. That's why he's in the documentary. But it's just like it just clicked of like that's the clown. That's what you need. It's like what we're talking about earlier. It's the compassion, the desire to lift somebody else up that's maybe having a bad day. And he says that in the documentary, like, you don't know what people are going through. You got these guys for an hour. You can change your day. You can make them feel good
Yeah.
about something. And I love that sentiment. And that's what it is for me. I feel like I'm a motorcycle that revs just a little bit low. And if you've ever ridden a bike or ridden a car that's like it feels like it's going to conk out a lot, you know what I'm talking about. Like you got to give it a little gas to kind of keep it up. I think I'm like that. I'm built like that. But being a clown just brings my throttle up a little bit. Makes me just a little bit more so my engine doesn't cut out. That I can kind of get to that next little level. And so like I need it. I need to do that. I need to make other people feel good to kind of keep my engine up. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it's a thing. And that's me.
Right on.
So, how long did it, sorry to circle back a little bit, how long did it take you to
No, it's
to
fine.
perfect your face? And
It's funny. The face. I mean, I can do it pretty quick now. There's some days that are better than others. Um, I, I
we got
don't.
a
I
competition
don't
to
think
see.
that's. Was
No,
that?
we do a clown makeup competition.
Oh yes, yes. I've heard this. I think Kenny hosted it,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Or
he
he
was a
did
judge
something,
in it.
or yeah. Listen, Kenny's face looks great. He looks great. I mean, there's plenty of people that do better. I mean, I've seen a lot of. I follow a lot of TikTok clowns, and some of those guys are great too. I mean, I will tell you right now that the Toms from Japan were the best. They were the best. I don't know how tight and crisp those lines were. I don't know how he did it, but they were just like shing, shing. It looked so good. Um, I've never been. I mean, I'm kind of lazy. Like my eyebrows, I should be gluing them down. I always get it on my eyelashes. I've got kind of long
Mm.
eyelashes. Like that's. I feel like my face is a little bit like my bathroom was when I was a single guy. Like it looks good from a distance, I'll say. You know, um, but to get it really tight and to really, I don't. I do shave. I've got sort of goatee here. Sometimes I'll put that under the red, so like I don't want to shave it. If it's camera close, like I got to shave this. Um, but I mean, I can do my face in 15, 20 minutes. I've done it in my car window before, like running to an audition. A lot of clowns don't like putting on white, or people that have done it for a long time. Like, I don't want to put on white. I don't mind it. I'd rather do it than an Auguste. Because Auguste, I feel like I got to take more time and clean it up. And then, do I line this or do I keep that red? Eric Stone Street, who I wanted to get for the doc, but he's been busy and stuff and had his own stuff. But and I don't even know if he wanted to participate. But I mean, there's no disregard. He's very Eric Stone Street was on Modern Family, and he does Fizbo, and he's very passionate
Hmm.
about clowning. And I think he might have the fact that we even I don't know. Other than like I sent him the link. I'm not sure he saw it, and it felt like I don't want to pressure him or make him feel uncomfortable. I like the guy. I was very pleased when Bill Irwin came on, because to me, Bill Irwin is the North Star of all my aspirations and all my clowning. He did A Regard of Flight. In the '90s, he was in pop. I mean, he's a wonderful actor. And when I got him through Ambrose, I was so pleased I was telling him who I wanted to get, and I said Bill Irwin. He's like, "I can get you Bill Irwin." I was like, "Oh my God, no way!" And Bill was just the nicest gentleman you could ever meet.
Nice.
Anyway, I got tangential. I apologize, but he has great makeup too.
I had a question. What did I do with it? Okay, now what is a common misconception people have when you tell them that your real job has been clowning for the past 20 years?
Dude, common misconception. Well, maybe I don't know if they have if I feel a great misconception. I mean, I guess there's always for me. I mean, I can almost speak. It doesn't feel like a job a little bit. Like it doesn't. Like I know it's a job, and it feels like I always thought like if I got to a certain place, I would maybe clown for free. Because I liked it so much, and I found that not to be true. I still take money for it, so which is not a real big surprise, but I do love doing it still. Um, I don't. I'm not sure if my dad would lead with the fact that I'm a clown. I think he might say I'm an actor first or whatever. I maybe that people are if there's a misconception that maybe that people couldn't be proud of you being a clown. That it was like it was more of I don't- like or maybe even for myself that like maybe I wasn't proud to be a clown or that I I don't maybe that's possible that maybe it wasn't something that felt worthy of me and I don't know that I should be proud of that um and I'm really soul searching because I am proud of being a clown but
Sure.
maybe other people frown upon it like I remember when I was single and I would before I met my wife and had kids if I would bring somebody over and then if we didn't talk about this in the first date or something and she saw clown pictures and she was like oof what's going on with that like it wouldn't work I know that like it's like this is I love being a clown I love clown stuff I don't if you would have told me at 18 that I'd be a clown I would have like really that's okay well, that's cool I mean I don't think I was opposed to it but I didn't know I would necessarily end up here you know another thing talking about this is there's a lot of people that feel like you've got to be born into being a clown and I'm here to tell you that's not true you can be a clown or you've got to go to Ringling Brothers clown college to be a clown no that's not true either or you have to do this to be a clown no you can be a clown if you want to be a clown I'll tell you what helps you be a better clown is skills, like being able to
Yeah.
do stuff, being able to juggle, being able to do unicycle, which I can't. I freely admit I've tried. I can do it a little bit, but I've learned I'm not great. And at my age, maybe I won't ever be great on the unicycle. Um, those things will help you. Wordplay,
What
in
about
so many ways,
stilts?
it was a gift not getting. Still, I can do stilts, yeah, for
Okay.
stilts. Peg stilts. So I'm not great at peg stilts. I can do so. I do drywall stilts, which a lot of clowns do. It's a little easier to stand still. Um, but saying yes to stuff. I do juggling gigs all the time, and to me, it's like just the easiest money in the world. And people are like, $300 for 2 hours to go stand out there and juggle. It's like you're getting paid to practice. I mean, who wouldn't do that? Like, I get paid to go
Oh
practice
yeah. Uh,
juggling. Like I absolutely I'll do that. I'll do that all day. In each job that I do, it's like paid training. I mean, to me, doing a clown party, that's just paid training. It's like I'm doing a clown party, I get paid, but I'm learning on the job. And I've even taken it one step further. Matt Walker, who is the artistic director of Troubadour Theater Company in the doc American Clown, he told me once something that I felt so valuable because I feel very free. I've done 4,000 kids' parties maybe over the years, over 25 years. So I go, I'm not even thinking about it sometimes, or I go there and I'm trying to figure out how to get in my groove, or I'm thinking about other things, and I wonder if they're going to have tacos afterwards. You're thinking about whatever as you're doing your show. And And one of my friends said, just treat it like a kid show. Treat it like you're a clown at a kid's party. So I could go into major studio heads, and my whole thinking is like, just think of it like these are kids at a party, older kids in suits. But it's like, so that's, to me, everything is a kid's party that you do. They're just bigger in scale. Like, this is still a kid's party. It's somebody's birthday. So I try to take that with me, as far as just helping my confidence and getting out there and trying to do the work. Um, because that's what's important, is just doing the work. Most kids nowadays don't have experience with clowns, so they think all clowns are scary. So if you go there and you're nice and you're friendly, you're already changing hearts. And that's all you got to do, change them one at a
Yeah.
time, one at a time.
So I got a question for you. It's kind of
Yeah.
a little serious, deep question. Um, what
Okay.
doing the American Clown? What is something that you've taken from that will be with you and your clowning forever?
What is something I've taken from that
Like that
will be in my clowning
experience.
forever? Well, yeah. I was worried when I did American Clown, there was a part of me that felt like, who am I? Who am I to tell this story? I'm not a master clown, or I'm not, who am I to ally myself with the great Bill Irwin, or, you know, and I think doing it and trying to bring it to more people that maybe didn't know the ins and outs of being on the road or being in the train or any of the stuff that I've heard over the years. I wanted to give people a place that they could learn, and a place to feel like they could revisit, and a face that they could feel like they're home, and it's okay. I'm hoping by doing this film that I too can feel like I can be included. Because I think it's so, when you don't have someone to give you permission, or someone to say like, yeah, if you got your degree, you passed that college, you always feel like you're an imposter, or that you don't belong, or that, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling for others. I don't like, there's a term that a lot of ringling clowns use that's called a yama. You guys might know, and it's, the term is, where it comes from is these clowns would go and do these big shows, and there would be like a young clown there that's interested in the circus or whatever, and he'd walk up to these ringling guys. This is the way it's been explained to me, and he would say, "Yeah, I'm a clown too." So they call them yamas. They're yama clowns, but that's fine. I'm a yama clown because I never went to Ringling Brothers, so I guess technically I'm a yama clown, and I embrace that. I want to be that. I want to, the all likelihood is, if I had gone to Ringling Brothers, which, if I had been more diligent, maybe I could have, and actually done the application, but I would have missed out, I think, on doing 4,000 kids parties where I cut my teeth on talking to kids just over and over, and wordplay and figuring stuff out and whatever, that maybe would have robbed me of that experience. Because most people I knew that did Ringling Brothers, they wouldn't stoop so low as to do a kids party. We're like, dude, I've done Ringling Brothers. I'm not doing balloons for kids. And I think there's been such a, I couldn't imagine just doing that and not having this one-on-one experience. So, and all of those things can exist within this sort of one profession, this one occupation. You can choose to do the bigger show stuff, or you can choose to do the smaller stuff, and it's all okay. We all belong together, and I think one of the things that, like, and even with the horror clowns, I know they get a lot of bad rap, and people are like, I hate them. Listen, guys, right now they're our ambassador. I don't love that that's our ambassador, that the Pennywise, or the Art the Terrifier, who's also in the doc. Listen, nothing
Killer
against him.
clowns.
Yeah, the Art the Clown. I don't love that that's like who people think of when they do clowns, but that's who has the limelight right now. That's like, I didn't choose him, but that's who's there. I think there's enough room for everyone. And so I really tried to create a canopy big enough. And some people like the horror clown. Great. Doesn't mean that's all we talk about. There's lots of other clowns here. So hopefully the documentary, I think, gives a big enough table for us all to sit at. And we can talk and we can discuss, who wants to talk at the
Oh yeah,
table, here, and who wants to talk later.
definitely. I have kind of a two-part for you.
Okay.
So, doing clowning in a hospital. All right. One, how is your energy different from the hospital to out in a, I don't know, kids setting or arena setting? And then the other part to that is, how do you maintain your mental health? Because I know working in a hospital could probably get rough sometimes with some patients. So,
Yeah. Okay. It's definitely a different skill set. I think, at a kid's party, you've been invited, someone's paying for you to be there. And in a
right, right.
hospital setting, it's unsolicited usually. I mean, it's obviously you're there because it's a program and you most likely are getting paid for them. Some people probably volunteer to do it. But the organizations I've worked with, I get paid. But you don't always you're not always solicited. No one really knows, and there's going to be, so it's to me, I like to think, and again, this is my own personal vision. There's other clowns that are healthcare clowns that probably think differently about this. I almost like to think about it as like I'm in the wall. Like this is going to seem creepy, but it's not supposed to. I'm like living wallpaper. I come out as I need to with them, and then I can
I
fade
gotcha.
back into the wall. Like that. That it's there while they're having a moment, and I can kind of help access stuff, and then I can kind of like fade back out. Like I don't want to disrupt too much, unless that's what they want. A lot of times with kids in a hospital, a no is fine. You can go to a door, knock, 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 peek it open a little bit. Hey, just wanted to come in and say hi if that's okay. And they could be having a bad day, and you can see it. They're tubes, and you're like, that's fine. That's fine. I totally understand. I wouldn't
Sure.
want us to come in either. And maybe you're trying to and on the way out, depending on how you feel in the moment, your shoe is stuck. And then you're trying to close the door. You're like, I am so sorry about this, and you're trying to close it. And maybe they get a little kind of laugh a little bit. Great. Get out. Like you did something. You did just a
Yep.
little bit of something, and that's what you'll do. And sometimes, it's happened, that there's usually in any hospital floor, there's little family rooms, like a little break room, and you can just slide in there, and you can just whew, have a little cry, and then you
Oh
can
yeah, I
wipe
bet.
your eyes and get back on it. And your partners are there. Everything you do in a hospital setting, there are two people always. I'm sure there's legal reasons for it, but so you're always there with somebody else. So if you're having a moment and you're like somebody else, let me hey, why don't you take a second, whatever that little interplay is. And I've used it countless times, where someone's having a hard time. But dude, it's in the doc, I think, and I asked this specifically, made sure this was in. They talk about this wonderful healthcare clown that was an actor and stuff, and one of the things he says is, I went from an audience of thousands to an audience of one,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Audience of one. Yep.
I love that because it
Yeah.
really is. The performance doesn't change. You're just like it's just like concierge level treatment that you're giving this one
Oh
patient,
yeah.
and you're just 150% there for them. And I love it, man. I love it. I miss right now. We're not doing the work at Chalk that we've been doing with Healthy Humor because our funding ran out, and I gotta say I miss it. I miss it a lot. Yeah.
So how you have kids, right?
I have two kids that are 8.5. They're twins, identical boys, almost nine, almost nine. So that's changed a lot of my. That's changed me as a performer a fair amount because I think I went from kind of kind of being uncle-y, like I don't care if I get them mussed up and all riled up and stuff. And if somebody's kind of acting up, I might kind of like, hey man, whose kid is this? I'm talking about, but like, whose child is this? I'd like to privately. I've said stuff like that. Like, I just want to make sure where their parents. Okay, I just want to make sure you're relaxed because just horrible stuff over the years. They're not all winners that you said. And since I've become a parent, like I'm way more compassionate than I think I've ever been. I'm just and I don't know. Something's turned in me where I really I'm not as jocular. I'm just not as kind of like maybe it's my age too. I'm really I'm just really I'm sensitive to any stimuli that doesn't need to be there. Because it's
Yeah.
like what benefit is that? Is that to make me laugh? Is that to make the like I'm married now? Was I trying to make the pretty girls at the party laugh? Like what was it that was
Hmm.
causing that? And I just think I don't need to do that anymore. It's just a piece of the layer of the onion that I don't need anymore. I don't need to do that. And there was a time that I thought like that's really funny. I could do that, and that's just I've just become a little bit more streamlined as a performer. I think.
Now, does it look like they're gonna get into clowning or?
It was it's hard to tell. I mean, they still think it's kind of cool, and they definitely get dressed up, and they've got plenty of pictures of them in makeup. They haven't turned yet. Where like everything I do is like this stupid. I'm sure they will. They're kids. But it's possible. I do think I didn't grow up being modeled to be an artist, and this is no disrespect to my parents. I'm a child of the '80s. They sat me in front of the TV. I watched a lot of TV. Because they were both working people. I did sports and that sort of stuff. But I don't like. We don't do screens at the house. There's a lot of. We'll watch a movie, but it's got to be old. Um,
Oh, right
you
on.
know, they play toy. They get Star Wars and all the big sort of stuff. But we just don't. They don't have Game Boys or there's none of that. So they spend a lot of their time listening to an audible or drawing or. So I think I'm hoping I'm raising artists, just even if they don't do that professionally, that they have a way of expressing themselves. That's all I care about is that they can turn to it because I'm an artist. It's taken me 25 years to say that out loud, but I play guitar, I write songs, I write plays, I'm a clown, I'm an actor, like I'm constantly doing things. And I grew up on the TV, but I do that at night with my wife, and but I don't do that in my everyday life that much. So I'm hoping with this, I mean, maybe they'll just turn into like TV junkies when they get older. I hope not, but you know, I like to think that I'm fostering something that they can become. This is in this new world of AI and whatever we're entering into, that they can use this to express their feelings and express themselves. Because at this point in my life, and the most I'm most proud of being an artist, you know, because I don't know if you would have told the 14-year-old version of me that I would be an artist for a living, that I'd be like, really? Like, what's that? What's that? What is an artist? So yeah, I mean, I love being an artist. I mean, it's hard. It's hard. I got to go work at Trader Joe's today too. That's what artists do out here in
Hey,
California. Like I don't love that, but like I'm an artist and I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it, and there's people that I grew up with that aren't doing it anymore. They're dead, or they've quit, and good for them. They work in a job in insurance or whatever it is. I'm still doing it. And I found a way just to keep it together and just that it feeds me just a little bit. So if that's what they want, I hope I've prepared them to do some of that stuff. They see me working on stuff. Like, what's the head doing? Is he recording another song? I mean, I hope that rubs off on them. I do.
yeah,
The
right on.
grind of everything.
Pete,
Yeah, it is a
Pete,
grind.
you got any more for him?
Um, No, not off the top of my head right now.
All right. Well, we're getting to the
Well,
time we're running low. So
yeah,
it's awesome having you, but I do have a question. Do you have like social media or anything that you like people to
yeah.
follow or anything?
I would love that. Yeah, my clown company is Los Angeles Clown Company on Instagram at Los Angeles Clown Company. My personal is at Los Angeles Clown. American Clown also has one at American Clown Movie. American Clown is right now on YouTube, on Amazon Prime. You can stream it for free. It's also on Apple TV to rent or buy. Um, please watch it. If if you
Oh
know
yeah.
a clown or if you have a clown, it's forward it to them. I think we live in a time right now that we need all the mirth and all the fools we can get our hands on. The good fools. We have plenty of them right now, but I think we need the ones that make us laugh genuinely. So,
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
for real. You are not kidding. This day
and
and
thank you
age.
so. Yeah, right. And R&B, thank you so much for spending the time and talking to me, and I really
Oh, thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. So you heard it there, folks. You know where to go. And again, please check out that documentary because it is a great documentary. And with that said, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you down the road. Have a good one.